We're going to pull back the curtain on a world that's absolutely massive, incredibly complex, but also vital to, well, everything. We're talking about shipping law. It is the hidden legal engine that keeps global trade running. And, as you're about to see, Singapore is right at the very heart of it.
I mean, really think about that for a second. You order something, and it travels thousands of miles across open water to get to you. What's stopping the captain from just disappearing with it all? The answer, it turns out, is this amazing web of international law. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. All right, so our journey starts right at the port. Before a single thing gets loaded onto a ship, a deal has to be made. This is the legal handshake that starts the whole process, and it usually comes in one of two main flavors. And it really boils down to this simple difference. If you're a huge company, say an oil giant, you're probably going to use a charter party. Think of it like chartering a private jet, but for your stuff. You rent the entire ship. But for almost everyone else, it's the bill of lading. And that's more like buying a seat on a regular commercial flight. Your cargo is sharing space with a bunch of other people's stuff.
So let's stick with that second option, because that one involves what is, and I'm not exaggerating, probably the single most important piece of paper in all of global trade. It is so much more than just a receipt. You can really think of it as the golden ticket for your cargo.
So this bill of lading has three what I like to call superpowers. First, it's proof of the contract. Yep. Second, it's a receipt. It shows the carrier actually got your goods. But that third one, that's where the real magic happens. It's a document of title. And this is the concept that allows goods to be bought and sold while they're still floating in the middle of an ocean.
So here's the crucial part. Whoever is physically holding the original bill of lading legally owns the stuff in the container. It's basically like cash. A bank can lend the money against it. An importer can sell the cargo to a totally different buyer before the ship even gets to port, just by signing the back of this paper and handing it over. It's the key that literally unlocks global trade finance.
And this quote just perfectly captures how high the stakes are. If a shipping company releases cargo to someone who doesn't present that original bill of lading, guess what? They're on the hook for the entire value of the goods, no ifs, ands, or buts. They have got to see that golden ticket before they hand over the prize.
Okay, so the cargo is loaded, the ship's on its way. It's not the Wild West out there on the high seas. A very specific set of international rules clicks into place that says what the carrier has to do during the voyage. In Singapore and in most other big shipping countries, these are known as the Hague-Visby rules. They're basically a mandatory global standard. Now, the key thing here is they don't demand perfection. A ship owner doesn't have to provide a 100% flawless ship, but they do have to exercise due diligence, which is just a fancy way of saying they have to do everything a reasonable person would do to make the ship safe and ready for the trip, and to take care of the cargo.
And here's a number that everyone in this business has memorized: 1 year. If your cargo gets lost or damaged, you have exactly 1 year from the delivery date to file a lawsuit. Not a year and a day. It's a super strict deadline that keeps things moving and prevents legal cases from dragging on forever.
But what happens if the problem is way bigger than just damaged cargo? What if there's a collision, or a ship sinks, or an owner just refuses to pay their bills? Well, this is where shipping law gets really dramatic, and you find out that the law has a very, very long arm. The answer to that is a huge, emphatic yes. Honestly, this is one of the most powerful tools in all of maritime law. See, you don't just sue the company that owns the ship, you can actually sue the ship itself. It's a wild legal idea called an action in rem, which is just Latin for against the thing.
And here's how it actually works, in simple terms. Your lawyer files a special lawsuit, a writ, against the ship itself. Based on that, the court issues an official warrant. And then, and this is the amazing part, the sheriff physically goes down to the port, gets on the ship, and tapes that warrant to the mast. And from that second on, that ship is under the court's control. It can't go anywhere. It's officially arrested.
This is the ultimate threat, right? If the ship's owner doesn't put up some kind of security or cash to get their ship back, the court can just order it to be sold at auction. And the best part for the buyer? They get a perfectly clean title. It's completely free of any of the old mortgages, debts, or claims. The sale just wipes the slate clean, which means the ship can be sold for the highest possible price to pay off all the people who are owed money.
So, let's say the ship has been sold. There's a big pot of money sitting there. But who gets their cash first? Because there's often not enough to pay everybody. Well, maritime law has a very strict, very clear pecking order.
As you can see, it's a highly structured system. First in line, the sheriff, for all the costs of arresting and selling the ship.
Then come the really serious claims, these things called maritime liens. We're talking unpaid wages for the crew or rewards for salvaging a wreck. Notice who's way down at number 4? The banks that loaned money for the ship. And all the regular suppliers, they're dead last. This whole hierarchy is designed to reflect the special risks and realities of life at sea.
And you know, all this stuff we've talked about is really just the tip of the iceberg. Shipping law also gets into huge topics like limiting how much a ship owner has to pay out after a massive disaster, or special international rules just for oil pollution, and even criminal charges for captains who illegally dump waste into the ocean. It's a whole legal universe.
So, the next time you see a giant container ship out on the horizon, just remember this incredible, invisible legal code that's guiding its entire journey, protecting everything inside it and holding its owners accountable. It kind of makes you wonder, what other invisible rules built up over centuries of custom and law are out there silently making our modern world possible?